Welcome, everyone. This is our Thursday morning production call. and We've got a kind of a follow-up from last week for y'all today, right? Of a couple of walls you're going to hit. And So today we'll be talking about, right, prepping for an appointment and uh, running an appointment, right? And what I got for y'all today is what we call, in at least in our little circle, right, some magic tricks of top producers, of kind of the things we're doing to make sure we set ourselves up for success. So that's what we'll be covering today. And again, I always love to start with this is a 1 hour long call. So please have your pen and notepad out. Do not just sit here and listen. I promise you, you will not remember everything. And the whole point is, right, we don't want you to go take what you learned today and change your entire appointment. That is not what we want you to do. We want you to just grab 2 or 3 things and start putting them into your appointment, right? So anything you hear today that's like, hey, you know what, I'm not doing that, and I think that will help me in my appointment, right? Or in helping a family, start adding that into them because we don't want you to change everything completely. That does not ever work. It gets ugly if you do that. So just add a couple of things and then what we humbly ask, if any of this helps you help a family, if y'all can post that in band, y'all have been doing a great job these past couple of weeks. It does help everyone else as a community, right? Anyone that missed it, or maybe they just didn't get that little nugget that you got and you applied it and it's helping you as a team. It really does help everyone. So that's my humble ask for y'all. And We will get started. Let's see here. Again, right, magic tricks of a top producer. Um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all a couple of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 things that'll uh, help you through the process of making sure you're running the best version of an appointment for you, right? But before I get into those, I really want to talk about something a top producer also has is energy and their vibe. And you know what? We haven't talked about this in a while. And I want to make sure I hit on this really well because it starts there, right? Because you could run a really good appointment. And One, I want to say thank you to everyone that's been in the workrooms and dial rooms, and they're unmuting, running appointments. Um, and so I've been able to listen to quite a few of y'all. And one thing that always reminds me, right, as a new producer or someone that's going through the process to get to a top producer, is it sucks, right? Like sometimes it's like, man, I feel like I'm failing. I'm stressing out because I'm sitting with more families and I'm getting more no's, right? We start going through this process and our energy drops. And the energy that I'm talking about is in the appointment. So if y'all, I'm very energetic. It does come naturally to me to be energized, right? I'm a pioneer connector. I like to talk to people. I like to be, right? I am all automatic. Brooke, me and you are loud, right? Like it's just natural for me. It is not natural for most, right? And I really want to hit on that because it will change the dynamic of your appointment. It will change the relationship with your clients. It will change how they feel about what you're showing them. And so I really want to hit on energy and tonality before we get into the kind of the magic tricks, right? Because again, I'm going to give you a couple of examples that I've seen, right? I always joke about my brother because when he started, right, again, my brother is not like the connector like me, right? He's more quiet. And when I was first hearing him in the office, he was struggling, right? And he was like, man, I'm running the appointment, I'm saying the script, I'm going through everything, but I'm just getting think about it, Joe, or they're just telling me no, right? And I'm like, okay, well, let me sit in. And so luckily we're in an office and I could just sit next to him while he was running the appointment. And when I did that the very first time, because I would hear him, right? But I never really, I'm like, well, let me see his energy, right? Running through it. And we just found out he was running an appointment like this. He was just reading through the script and he was saying everything he needed to say. And he was going over the coverage and right, you're going to be able to get right the full mortgage payoff. Um, but listen to that energy versus, oh wow, yeah, we're going to be able to get you the full mortgage payoff. You're going to be able to qualify for that. Um, And so this is going to be right. If we do 7 months worth of mortgage protection and we add that accidental, it'll pay off the entire thing. And right, if it's not an accident, no matter what, we're going to have, Mary with 12 months worth of mortgage protection versus, so we'll be able to do 12 months worth of mortgage protection. And then we'll add that accidental and that'll pay the whole mortgage off for 200,000. There's a different level of what they feel, right? They almost feel like, oh, that's what I qualify for, right? So realize you control how they feel as well, right? They're gonna mimic the way you're acting. And if you're excited about the coverage that you're showing them, they're gonna be excited about the coverage you're showing them. And if you don't sound excited, they're not excited. So imagine running an appointment at that tone for 45 minutes. I would be dying to jump off that appointment. You have to realize that. So if you're running an appointment and you're very one tone and you never laugh, you never cracked a joke, 30 minutes later, I don't care if you showed them the best options, they're ready to get off the phone or they're ready to jump off a Zoom, right? Like they're like, oh my God, this is just keeps on going. And then realize for them, it's their first appointment, right, with you. So for them, it's just new subjects every single time. It was a role and purpose, and you went through it and you told them what was going to happen. We're going to go through the application. I'm going to tell them, right? I'm going to ask health questions for you, and we're going to do this. And then let me give you my what I do in our appointment. And they're just like, and then it gets into the health questions. Well, have we ever had any health conditions? You had a heart attack? Okay. Right. And they're just like, oh my, it's 15 minutes, 20, like realize I don't care what you show them. They're ready to get out of the appointment. You've bored them for 30 minutes. Right. Like, so you have to think about that, right? Like some of our appointments run an hour and a half long. Imagine being on the Zoom for an hour and a half like that.
There's
Right? Like
no way
I
he
would,
sounded like that. I'm gonna say he never sounded like that. That's just bad.
oh, dude, it was
I'm ready to jump
hilarious.
off the trading right now, just listening to that.
It was like one tone, dude. He was just reading the script at one tone. It was hilarious.
Oh, yes, he did.
The next day he switched it apps, right? Like it's your energy. So be very, very cautious. And this is why I want to spend some time there because I want to give y'all a whole bunch of examples of what you're doing maybe that can cause, right? Because have y'all ever ran a really good appointment and you're just like, I don't know why they said no, right? Or they were just ready to, it almost felt like they were like, okay, thank Leslie. Right, we're gonna think about it and we'll give you a call back. You forced them through 30 or 45 minutes of this. Right? And then so I also want you to be cautious of, especially when you're on Zoom, what do you look like? Right? Like, and I ain't talking about dress. Again, I'm talking about energy. Listen to how I'm hosting, right? And I'm talking, and when I'm running an appointment, it's like, hey, you're gonna get this much of coverage. And as right, the mortgage is paying down, we're also filling the gap. But this is my energy in the appointment. They're excited because they see that Joe's excited, right? So as what does your body and tonality also tell them, right? Because I'll pick on Troy. I doubt he's on here, so y'all don't tell him. But one time Troy was running all these appointments and he's like, Haddon, you're gonna laugh at this one, buddy. So Troy was running appointments via Zoom and he's like, everyone's telling me no, or everyone's telling me they need to think about it. And I'm like, well, send me a recording. And when he sent it to Jeff and I, he was running the appointment like this. He was like, yeah, so we're gonna go and so you're gonna qualify for mortgage protection. And so he was never looking up at him. He was always like this, this is a sign, this looks stressful, right? And he was doing this. If you know Troy, that's just his stance, right? Like that's just his. I'm like, but there's somebody watching you, right? And we're still pitching a sell. So you have to be cautious too of how you look. So he didn't realize he was doing this, right? And he was doing this and he was talking and what does this tell you? Like, I'm bored and I'm having to do this for you, right? So just be careful of what you're putting out there, right? And this is why you really want to use Zoom, because you get to push that energy to them, right? Still over the phone, it's a lot harder, right? Because they don't see that I'm excited. They don't see you smiling, right? So if you're not smiling, the basic stuff, right? Make sure you're smiling, that you're not like, well, we're gonna get you. Ooh, we get you. Look at this. Ooh, we can cover the full mortgage. Like, that's not exciting, right? Like, hey, we're going to be able to get you 500,000. We're going to cover the whole thing. You are healthy. You're young enough. We're going to cover the entire thing for you, right? Your wife and your kids don't ever have to worry about this. And so we're just again, the best way I can tell you is you have to record yourself. Have to. Please do not run away. Now, here, what you don't have to do is send it to somebody. Okay? Because you can usually correct most of the things that you need to correct, right? So don't get embarrassed about recording yourself, and you're going to have to send it to your upline. Record yourself for yourself. You will be able to fix about 90% of the things that you're doing that you don't even notice you're doing. I promise, right? Troy never noticed he was doing this, right? James didn't notice he was like this, right? Because we're nervous, we're new, right? We're trying to follow the script. We don't realize we're doing, yeah. And so, right. And we're following the script, and we're going to say everything that's on there. And this is going to be for mortgage protection. We're so focused on trying to run a really good appointment. We're not focused on the fact that we're boring, right? And so you have to be very cautious of that, right? And then I want to hit a little bit on tonality, right? Again, you cannot be one level. I also cannot be at this high energy the entire time, especially when I'm trying to build emotion and I'm trying to make them feel right a certain way so that they can understand that this policy is going to help them, right? So my tone literally goes up and down depending on where the script, right? What part of the script we're at. And what I mean by that is, first, when I'm explaining what we're going to do today, that needs to be exciting. The role and purpose, and we'll get into that in a little bit. The role and purpose has to be exciting. Okay. They have to be excited. You're about to run an appointment on them. That's not a place where you need to be very low and slow. Okay. You need to be like, hey, so today we're going to go do this, and I'm going to hit on, I'm going to go through that for y'all, but you got to have that energy for it. Where you want to get a little emotional and slower is when you're hitting on health issues, when you're hitting on financials and where they're going to end up at. They have to feel the pain, right? So we if you have ever listened to emotional labor, so write that one down. Emotional labor in on SoundCloud from Symmetry. So there's a recording out there called Emotional Labor. We make money off of uncomfortable situations. We make emotional money. Okay. It's not physical. We make it emotionally. The more emotion we can put into a policy, that's how more coverage they're going to put in place to protect their family, and we're going to make more income. So if you're running away, if y'all haven't heard this before, welcome. But in case you don't know this, we talk about death. Remember, we talk about what no one talks about. The day their loved one is not there, what's going to happen? So if you're shying away from that, you're probably getting you're getting wet with the good old baby apps. Now, baby apps matter, right? But I promise, if you're doing baby apps a lot, right, very small APV, there's not a lot of emotion, and that's why you're uncomfortable. And when I had to figure this out for myself, if y'all, I'm sure y'all have heard me say this before, where right, at least as a Hispanic, it was very disrespectful for us to ask another male how much money was in their bank account, how much money's coming into them. What does that look? That's very right in our world. I would never even ask my dad. I don't even know how much money's in my dad's account, right? And I do some of his financial stuff, right? But for us, it was very disrespectful. I had to get over that because that's where my income comes from. I have to know if I'm going to be a doctor in this industry, right? As an insurance agent, we have to do a really good diagnosis, and you have to do that by asking these very uncomfortable questions, right? How much is in your bank account, Haddon? right? And so, hey, your bills, you're telling me there's $5,000 of bills going out, and there's only 11,500 in your savings account. That means there's only 2 months worth of like that. That's so disrespectful in my eyes to tell that to someone. But that's what we're doing. We're protecting that situation, right? So you're telling me, Haddon, there's only 2.5 months worth of bills. Like, what does that look like for Mary? Right? And these are the questions you have to ask, but with tonality, right? I'm not excited, and they have to know I'm not excited about that because they have to hear it in my voice. Like, wow, okay, so you're telling me so we have there's 11,000 in the savings account. That's good, but 5,000, right? And this is where I'm adding stuff, right? But there's 5,000 in bills going out. So, man, am I seeing this right? So that there's 2.5, maybe 2.5 months worth of bills there. And then you get quiet. It is so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable to get quiet right there. And you have to wait for them to answer. And then if they don't answer, you have to even pivot there. You have to be like, I mean, is there something in place? Then they're still quiet because they don't even know what to say. It's so weird. Like a minute and a half has passed that, and it's like, what do I say now? Right? And it's like, I mean, Mary, how does that make you feel? It is so weird, right? But listen to how I'm asking the questions. Concerned. I'm stressed. I'm worried because I want them to be stressed. I want them to be worried right here. And then they're like, wow, I mean, we never really talked about that, Joe. I'm like, and that's pretty normal, right? Like, and I tell them, I'm like, man, unfortunately, my job is I talk about situations where no one has talked about this. I'm like, but I'm glad I'm here for you. And so, I mean, and nothing in place then? They're like, no. I'm like, so it looks like we should probably look at putting something in place today. And they're like, yeah. Then my tone changes. Well, the good news is that's what I'm here for. And based on everything we've gotten up to here, I'm going to be able to show you stuff, Terry. That's going to solve that for y'all. So I'm excited about that. So let's get into that. But you hear how my tone changes, right? Like first I'm worried and stressed for them and with them, and then I'm excited that I can provide a solution, right? Like this is where you differ. This is where all of us have written an application on a family, right? But you ever feel like, man, I don't know why I got to think about it there, or I don't know why I keep getting no's or think about it. This is the little stuff you got to work on, and it's the hard stuff because the only way we can. So I want you to really think about this, Nicholas. I see you shaking your head a lot, and Stephen, right? Think about this. Y'all are running an appointment, but we've never heard you in any of these parts that I just talked about. So how could we help you find these? It's the hard work to help you find these because this is the difference between writing 2 to 5 apps a month to 20 apps a month. Because this is where you start, right? This is where the layups, right? Not only do you get the layups, the families that I don't care what you say, they're going to get the coverage, right? But from the ones that were just not okay with the appointment you ran, right? So just to understand that. And again, the steps are before you have to send it to anyone, record yourself and listen to yourself. But you got to be very intentional, right? Like, okay, let me listen to what my appointment sounds like. You'll be blown away. You say things you don't even realize you say. I have coached so many agents that I'm like, hey, do you know you say death like a billion times? They're like, no, I don't. I'm like, oh yeah, you do. I'm like, I'm scared of dying right now because in their appointment it was like, yeah, so this is in case you die, and then just in case John dies. And so John, when you die, it's like, God, how many times are you going to say die to these people? Right. And so just realize, listen to your appointment. It blows us away in a really good way, right? Take it comical, learn from him, right? Like enjoy this part of the process because you'll also learn all kinds of stuff. Maybe you say insurance policy, right? Like, so I'm going to show you an insurance policy, and because this is going to be for insurance policies, and the insurance policy I'm going to send you, right? Like we don't say that, right? We say program. Hey, I'm going to show you a program that families are going to get covered. Nobody wants a policy. Nobody wants an insurance policy. Make sure you're not saying stuff like that. Again, you'll uncover so many things you're doing that you don't realize, but you got to record yourself. And here, this is for the veterans out there. You ever wonder why hadn't sometimes we get to 20, 30,000 in a month and then all of a sudden we're not doing what we've been doing? We change something without knowing it over the right, because it's so repetitive. And this one time you said something and it worked and you don't realize, but your brain realized it, and it now added it to your appointment, and now you're doing it in every single appointment, and that keeps happening because you run so many. By the time you notice, even though it was a slight adjustment, your script is up here versus where it was before. And all of a sudden, it's like, man, I don't know why I can't get a single yes right now. It's because you're so far off of what we were doing. You don't realize that. So this is also very important for vets, right? Like if you've been out there running appointments, you need to listen to yourself, right? Because you got to humble yourself down. If you're not writing consistently, it's you. We did something, we changed something, we don't realize we did it, and that's why this is why I host these calls. This keeps me on point. It makes me work on, look, today I'm teaching on tonality. Let me tell you, my tone for the next 2 weeks is going to be on point, right? Last week I did it on booking appointments. I want y'all to, this is how serious I am about my training. Last week I talked about dialing, going through the script, booking an appointments. Do y'all realize that I did that Thursday? Friday, I booked 16 appointments in 2 hours. That's how. Do you know why though? I had notes, right? Like I take my own training very seriously, right? Like everything we work on is stuff our team is literally struggling. I want y'all to know you can be on this call for an hour every single Thursday and it does absolutely nothing for you if you don't go apply what you sat here and listened to for an hour, right? I want you to, this is how serious I am. I take my own advice, right? Because this isn't my advice. This is Symmetry's advice. I'm just repackaging it for y'all. I've listened to every audio out there like 100 times because I used to drive to appointments. So I had 4 to 6 hours a day in the car listening to Symmetry training. That was an advantage of driving to families' homes. Y'all don't have that now. So just realize y'all got catching up to do on training, right? And so just realize this one call on Thursday ain't going to do it for you. We were training 2 to 4 hours at minimum a day because we were driving to appointments every single day, and they taught us to have what we called the rolling university. So we were listening to SoundCloud audios every single day, multiple hours. Like that's what they did. They said, don't listen to the radio, listen to a SoundCloud between your next appointment, right? And we had 30 to 40 minutes before driving to the next house, right? So just realize that's how much training we put into to get to the point that we can write the business that we do it at. I think that's all I have for tonality. I want to keep it super interactive. Anyone have any questions on tonality, energy,
Yeah.
rookie?
Yes, I've been getting a lot of baby apps, and part of it comes from Tennessee's got pretty low budget, and my point when I'm talking to them, I am changing my tonality. I'm very concerned about, hey, you're negative already. Are you borrowing money? Like, haha, slight joke in there because it's like, really, like, what's going on, And I do feel like I'm helping them because I'm at least getting them something that's going to help them get prepared to make those next changes. And, we are discussing getting more coverage in the beginning of the year when they've maybe paid off credit cards and debts and things like that. But we all know, like, sometimes people are spending money on coffee and Chick-fil-A and random stuff, right? So, how do you create more of that? Like, this is, you know,
So,
great. 3 months is
so
helpful, but like, how do we squeeze more out of that?
well, realize, right? I bet you I can pull a producer in Tennessee that's writing triple the APV you are, right? And so I want y'all to think of this, right? It ain't the lead. I promise you, it's you, right? So that just means, right? My challenge to you would be, right? Like, are you really digging into the financials? Are you going into the mindset that they're all broke here, they're all cheap? because I promise that is an incorrect statement, right? Like you will write, because we're not talking about much more, right? Because a baby app is $20-$30 a month to $80 a month, right? Or to 110. It's a $60 difference. It's you, the way you're running the appointment, right? It's the emotion that you're drawing from the appointment, right? And I can tell you that because I literally said the same thing to Chris Cookbrook. I was like, man, no, this is all they can afford. I live in Arizona. I'm running Mojave County. He's like, Joe, there's going to be a producer that can go into your area and write triple the APV that you're writing because they're just doing a better job in the appointment, right?
Oh, I
So
know, I see it. Like Jordan Gillum works Tennessee and she's great. But my question is like, how do I make that transition? And then am I asking too many questions? Like I'm going over their subscriptions, their dog food, like their medical, like every
that's a
single
good
little
point.
expense. Am
Just
I
listen to
digging
yourself.
too deeply into expenses that I am making them not have any money at the end of this?
This is exactly what I just said, right, to the guys earlier, right? So we don't know. I've never heard your appointment. Who has heard your appointment? Have you ever recorded yourself? Have you listened to yourself, right? These are things we don't know. And you don't know you're doing them until you record yourself and listen to yourself, right? And be hard on yourself, right? Be like, okay, I'm gonna dissect this because there's something wrong. Because there is something wrong. Your average policy should be $1,200 a month, no matter what. I don't care what lead you're working. I don't care what area you're working. It's all in your head. It's something we're doing, right? There's no reason why another producer can write way more APV than us, right? And so that I would just say record yourself, Brooke, because we don't know what it is, right? And I'm not going to sit here and try to pick it when we don't know what it is because you can think it's something, but I promise you, that when you record yourself and listen to yourselves, it's crazy. You're like, man, I didn't realize I say this, right? And then you get comfortable enough, send it to somebody. Now, the really cool part, I will put this out there. So when you record yourself to send it to your upline or whoever you're sending it to, that's going to be the best damn appointment you've ever ran because you're embarrassed anyways to send it. So here's the cool part. Start trying to record yourself good enough to send it to your upline and listen to it. That's a great game to play because you're going to run the best right the best appointment you can possibly run because you got to send it to somebody. You got to listen to it. This is also the power of running live appointments in the workroom. Like challenge yourself. You will run the absolute best appointment when you are unmuted because you're not going to take it from the client because people are listening to you. So when they would normally say, yeah, I mean, it's just not, yeah, we're just not interested. Rodney, I promise you, if you're unmuted in the workroom, you're going to be like, oh, I got to fight back 3 times. So tell me more. Why? And then they tell you whatever they're saying. You're like, God, they're listening. Nope. Okay, we went through your budget. You're telling me you need to think about it financially. Let's run through your budget again, which is something you would have not done. When you're by yourself, I promise you, you bow out way faster even dialing to book appointments, you bow out so fast because it's so easy. No one's listening to you. Yeah. So okay. Well, all right, Matt. Thank you. And then you get off the Zoom, right? Or you stop booking the appointment. There's magic in the workroom because it forces you to run the best version of yourself because people are listening. Like, but take that as a game, right? Like, that's the whole point of practice and doing it live, right? Like it makes you better at it. Matt, you got your hand up.
So you had said our APV should be like 1200, and this might be a sidebar conversation.
Nope.
Man, technology is
The
cool. And knew a sidebar and just shut them down.
Yeah. What'd you say, Matt? You froze.
Rodney, you suck.
What'd you say?
I said you said the APV should be like right around the 1200 on monthly, right?
Yep.
So I've only written 3 sits to date,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, the first two they were like 60, like one was like 90 and 100. The third one for the pair is like 600.
An APV,
Yeah. So
right? It's gonna, so remember, it's always average. So we ain't talking about today, but when you look at your month should almost always, like if I took my entire master and I divided by APV to apps, it's somewhere between 1,000 to 1,200, no
got it.
matter what, for the
Okay.
whole year, right? So it's just don't remember, y'all don't ever look at your numbers that are small. It's not fair for you or your numbers, right? It's always in large numbers. Look at it in a month. Large numbers has to be 15 to 20 apps a month, right? If you're under that, you could have just sat with the 10 people that were small apps, right? Because then you didn't get the opportunity to write that $7,000 app that James wrote yesterday, right? Because it'll always come back and average out. So give yourself that grace too, Matt, right? Like
Okay.
don't judge yourself on those. But once you start looking at that, you need to. And then also remember, you're in control of the options y'all show them. In your options, y'all should be between $80 to $100 no matter what. That's the average application written, right? So if all
Yep.
your options are too expensive always, you're going to probably get a lot less yeses. If all your options are so cheap, between $20 to $40 or say, that's a you problem because you're doing that on purpose, right? Because also make sure too, you're writing multiple apps, right? Remember, y'all are adding the accidental, not just the life insurance, right? The mortgage and the critical period. You should be adding an accidental to anyone 70 or below. That's how you get more APV, right, in that home. So make sure you're doing that. Sweet. Any more before we get off tonality and energy? All right. Well, we're gonna rock and roll to the prepping and some magic tricks that we call right in the top producer world. Um, and so we're gonna start first with prepping, right? So write that down, prepping for your appointment. Okay. You are a professional. Please do not jump into appointments without prepping with them. Okay. There's too many of us in the workroom. There's too many in your upline that want to help you write an application. Why are you prepping by yourself? That's a choice that you make. You should there if you don't write and issue $15,000 a month, if you don't write and issue $15,000 a month, every single month, you need help. Please ask for help. We want to help you, but we don't know when you're running an appointment. We don't know what options you're showing. We don't know anything because you don't tell us. That is a choice you are making. You are choosing to do this by yourself, and I don't want to hear that, oh, well, my upline's not really there, or this or that, blah blah. There's too many of us, and you are refusing to jump in the workroom and ask a question because the workroom has taken that off the table. You can say all you want about your upline, but you can jump in the workroom and ask questions, and anyone will help you. That is a choice you are making. Highly suggest you don't do this by yourself. That's the whole point of Symmetry. We are a system, right? Like the whole point is, just because I have 200 agents on my team, I can't talk to 200 people, right? Like all of y'all can jump into our workrooms and get help. We have too many top producers out there. Don't blame Joe because I didn't answer your phone, right? Like we have active workrooms that you can go in there and ask for help. You're choosing not to. Okay. There is a system in place. And now that the workroom is there, it is insane. Like you're crazy. I'm sorry. You're crazy if you're not using the workroom because there's help, instant help. You don't even have, before y'all had to wait for us to text you back or call you back. But now with the workroom, it's instant help. There, you never have to wait. Like take advantage of that, right? Prepping for your appointment. I also want to remind everyone, every insurance carrier, they have a team waiting for your phone call. All you have to do is call them and do a risk assessment. Write that down if you've never heard of a risk assessment. You can do a risk assessment with every single carrier. You can call Americo, you can call AMAM. In fact, AMAM does it through a chat, right? You can call Mutual of Omaha and say, hey, this is my client. I want to use you, right? Because we teach you, right? Americo, Move, right? Our the order. But you can call any carrier and say, hey, I want to write this client. This is what they have. And you tell them, and they're like, yep, they should qualify for this. Stop guessing, right? The joke is it's really not magic tricks. We're just doing everything possible to make sure we're going to run the best appointment that we can, right? So just make sure you're getting all the health questions right through booking the appointment, and then do a risk assessment before the appointment. Why before the appointment? Because then you got to make sure you have logins. You know where that application, right? If you're going to write if you're going to write America, do you know what term 100 and term 125? Do you know where to find them? Do you know it's a different, right? If it's a different calculator for the IUL, it's a different calculator for Eagle. So like you got to know. I'm not going to tell you all that. Y'all have to go prep. Okay, you stop practicing on clients. Don't wait 10 minutes before and be like, Amber, I have an appointment and it's in 30 minutes. I can't help you in 30 minutes. I wish I could, but I can't, because I'm going to tell you what to go use. And then I'm like, okay, sweet. So now let's go to AmAm, or let's go to America. And they're like, I don't know my login. I don't know my password. I don't know. Like, what are we talking about here? Okay. So remember, the prepping is you're calling today and you're booking appointments for tomorrow so that you can have tonight or tomorrow morning a prep with someone. Okay. And you have to be intentional about that. So when you're done dialing, it's not like, I'll just call them tomorrow. No, you need to start today, right now. Or when you're done dialing with your 4 or 6 appointments for tomorrow, you need to start prepping with your upline today, or at least let them know, hey, I got 6 on the books tomorrow. I need help. That is on you. And I'm telling you all this because, listen, do you know how many phone calls I get the day of 30 minutes before the appointment? A lot, still to this day. Okay. I try to help, but if I'm in an appointment, I ain't going to answer my phone. I can't. Right. If I'm in an interview, I can't. If I'm on another call, I can't. Right. Like, you can't blame your upline. It is you not prepping on purpose. Okay. That's why you book appointments for tomorrow. And that gives you an entire evening and an entire morning to have plenty of time to call carriers, find the application, log in, save the password, get to the application. I highly suggest you run through the application. If you've never done Term Life Express, you can enter all fake numbers and go through the whole thing. If you're doing Americo has the whole platform where you can do the demo app and you can run through the entire thing. Don't practice on your client. You're going to be nervous, and then you're going to do what James is doing, right? Okay. Let me see. And I need your height and weight, right? You can't control your tones if you're too worried about what's next, right? Like you have to be a professional. We make $200,000 a year. Act like it, right? We work for the 9th highest paying company out there. We make $200,000 a year. If you're not making $200,000 a year, you just have work to do. But everyone here should be making $200,000 a year. That's what the insurance industry and what Symmetry has put together. If you're not making that, you just got work to do. You should be able to get there in the next 6 months. In the next 6 months, if you're really focused, you should be able to deposit $20,000 on your own PIN, no matter what, if you really want it. I promise you, we're very transparent in everything we do. You can absolutely do it. You just got to prep for it, right? It takes a little bit of work. Still on the prepping. What else do we got to do? Make sure you're sending, so please write these things down. Make sure you're sending text messages. The minute you book the appointment and you get off the phone, is there a text message going out? If you're on Funnel, it automatically does it for you. But if not, are you sending a text message confirmation for your appointment? Is there an email going out? You need to be sending an email with the Zoom link. Okay. Anyone that's not sending an email, you're choosing to make this harder. Okay. You should be sending an appointment confirmation with your email, with your license, all your information. We have a template, right? Miss Amber, if you could post that in Bandan here, right? But there's an email template. Like, make sure you're sending this stuff. This is so that they can get to know you. This is so that they know they're talking to a licensed agent. Gives them plenty of time to do some, like, these are things you choose not to do. These are things top producer. Ask Mr. Elijah. Mr. Elijah won't even get off the phone until they've confirmed they've seen the email.
This is true.
Dude's on a whole nother level. He's like, hey, So Joe, I just sent you that email. Can you open it up? Can you open it up? Listen to that posture. Can you open that email? Yes. You see that link on there? Tomorrow, Joe, at 4 o'clock, all you gotta do is click on it, and you'll be able to see me, and I'm gonna share my options. Right? You ever wonder? You may be. Anyone ever want to write what Elijah writes? I do. You just may be a simple email and a text message away. You may be doing everything possible to do it, but these little things that we choose not to do is the separation. Ask Elijah. He sends it at every single one. He doesn't make a decision. He doesn't choose not to. We choose not to a lot of times, right? So just again, these are things that top producers do. Sending that email, again, checking with your upline, um, prepping, and just letting somebody know you're in an appointment. Okay, if you're brand new, your upline or whoever your mentor is, they should know you have appointments today. Okay, again, if you're not, you're just scared, and it's okay. But if Amber was my downline, I always knew she had 6 appointments today. She had a 12 o'clock, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 4:30. She always communicated that with me because she was like, "Hey Joe, if I need help, I'm gonna need some help." Right. And then it allowed me to put systems in place to help. Hey Amber, I have a 2, a 3, and a 4 too. So hey, let's make sure we prep for this. And if not, the workroom, and here's James's number, here's Nate's number. If I don't answer right through our text, or we had a group text, we had things in place. Your team has things in place too. You're just probably choosing not to do these things. Again, stop trying to run appointments by yourself. There's too many of us that want to help you. And this is what's top. We still do this to this day. In mine, James's and Amber's and Nate's text chat, we still text each other. Hey, I have a client with cancer 4 years ago. I'm doing this, right? We still do this to this day. Stop trying to do this by yourself. There's too many of us that want to see you win. The next one, right? So that's prepping. The next one is role and purpose. And actually, you know what? Before I go into role and purpose, the next one is actually rapport. Okay, so rapport. When you jump onto your appointment, you got to build the rapport. Okay, don't be cold. You're gonna again, right? Remember my uncomfortable. You're gonna be asking them about money. You're going to be asking them about other insurance. You're going to be talking about death. You're going to be talking about, do they have, listen, we literally are checking their life here. We're telling them, are you being an adult right now and have things in place that's going to, right, Elijah? It's so uncomfortable, right? Especially when we're talking to someone even older than us in our appointment. But we're we're literally asking them like, hey, do y'all got things in place to make sure somebody's not here or you get sick, like life's going to be okay? And the worst part is like 95% of them are not, and they don't. So you're going to have some rapport there. If not, they're going to cut you off, right? So rapport, what does that look like? Look, write this down. 5 to 10 minutes. You don't need more than that. 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. If you're good at it, 5. If you're not good at it, you do need to take it to 10. Okay? No more than that. After that, you don't need more than that. I promise you. Okay. You're going to waste time and it's going to be a way too long appointment. And again, they're going to want to get off at that point. So 5 to 10 minutes. Again, if you're good at rapport, 5. If you're not good at rapport, 10. Every home's a little bit different. You keep digging until you have that rapport. How do I know I have good rapport with them? They're laughing and they're talking to you. What my favorite way to know if I have rapport is this. So they've taught us, right? You want to ask a good 5 to 7 questions deep. Okay, because they're going to be cold at the beginning and then they warm up to you. And you keep going until they warm up to you. But I want y'all to have this mindset. Deposits before withdrawals. So write that down. Deposits before withdrawals. Okay, what do I mean by that? You need to give them something about you before you're extracting information about them. If not, it easily becomes an interrogation and you don't even realize it. What do I mean by that? Matt, hey Matt, so where are you from? How many kids you got? Who's your beneficiary? How old are you? Why did you move there? How much money's in your bank account? Listen, who wants to sit through that? Make sure you're not doing, you got to build some rapport, right? It easily becomes an interrogation and you don't even realize it. You're just following the script, right? But these are things that you have to naturally start doing, right? But it ain't natural at first. You just got to you got to know about it, and then you start learning it, right? So hey, how do I build rapport? Those 5 questions. What does that sound like? Hey Matt, where are you from? And then it's very short. It's like Texas. Okay, I'm from blank, right? I'm from Texas myself, San Antonio. Now I'm out in Arizona. Are you originally from Texas? Yes. Short. Okay, cool. And so is this your first house? Yep. What brought you to Texas, or were you born there? Well, originally I was from Texas, and then I moved to Louisiana, and then I moved back, and then right then they're talking a little bit more. And then you go another question. Okay, sweet. How was Louisiana? I'm like, oh, well, that was super cool. I used to live here, and I built a casino there, and I did this and I did that. And then I moved back because, right, me and my wife got together. Now all of a sudden they're building rapport, right? But you got to keep going. If you feel it's too tense, don't start into the script because it ain't going to go well. If they're not letting you build rapport there, why do you think they're going to start giving you information, asking them about health questions, money, or anything like that? You're going to get a pushback, right? So make sure you have your rapport on point. Guess what? In the script, there's already questions that you can ask. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of SoundCloud audios on building rapport. Rapport is super important. One of the cheat codes is give them information before you take information, right? Deposits before withdrawal. When I get off of an appointment, everybody knows I got 4 kids. I've been married twice. I got back together with Sandra. My kids love to kayak. They know everything about me because I expect we built a friend in about 5 to 10 minutes, really quick. Their walls come down. So if your appointment doesn't know anything about you, they ain't going to share anything about themselves. Okay. They're not going to feel comfortable. That's rapport. Now we're going to go into the role and purpose. There's just so much science in the role and purpose. And when I say the role and purpose, I want to make this very, very clear because I still to this day, nobody understands what I'm saying. The other role and purpose, not the one in the real script. So Amber's going to post this in band 2 and in here too. There's a different role and purpose, not the one built into the script. The role and purpose that tells them what's about to happen in the appointment so that you don't kidnap your client. How many of y'all have ever had, well, like we weren't ready to write an app. I don't want to give you my bank information. I need to think about this. Why do you want to know about my money? Have you ever had that in your appointment? It's because you don't have a solid role and purpose. The role and purpose sounds like this. I'm just going to go through it really quick, right? Hey, Amber. So, right, I just built rapport with her, 5 to 10 minutes. And then I literally say, Amber, let me tell you what my role and purpose is. My role and purpose is to find you the most amount of coverage. Let's look at my hands, look at my energy. Amber, my role and purpose is to find you the most amount of coverage for the least amount of premium. The way I get to do that is I work with all the insurance carriers out there. So I get to shop around for you. And you don't have to talk to a whole bunch of people. What I'm going to do inside of our appointment is I'm going to ask you any health conditions, make sure I get you approved. I'm going to go over your budget a little bit, not to be nosy, just to see if it's something you even need. Some families don't need this, Amber. Maybe they have $1 million in their bank account or a rich uncle. Ha, 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 right? If that's not the case, normally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I see other families do. You'll be able to pick several of those policies, right, or those programs. Whichever one you like, I'm going to fill out the application for you today online. It's normally going to give you an instant decision. That means you're going to be covered as of today, Amber. If they don't approve you today, it's going to take a day or two, but once they approve, they're going to draft out of your account and mail you a policy. Does that sound good? Yes. They always say yes, because I'm saying it with authority, and I'm saying it just telling them what's about to happen. Think of it that way. You need to tell them what's about to happen, because if not, you're asking for health questions. You're following script, but they don't have the script. So for them, you're just changing the subject randomly and getting weird information out of them. You got to think of them, right? You have a script. They don't have your script. So as you're changing information take, they don't know why you're doing it, and it's weird, right? First, you're asking me about all my health conditions, Elijah. Then you're putting me on the spot, asking me about my money. Then you're asking me what I've done to set up my life and retirement and savings account. Like, what's going on here? Versus if you have a solid role and purpose, they know exactly what's going to happen. I promise you. If you run a solid role and purpose, they're ready to go before you started the script, because they're like, okay, sweet. Let me go get my checking. Let me go get my checking book. That way, when you need it, I got it. I promise. Run a solid role and purpose. That's what happens. Okay. So you run your solid role and purpose. Now you're going to run the real script. In the real script, the biggest things I can teach y'all is watch. This is where you got to direct them to what's going to happen again. Okay. You again, stop prepping by yourself. Okay. If you have a 65-year-old, if you have a 62-year-old, if you have a 75-year-old, and you've booked the appointment and you're running through the real script, you should not be agreeing with them and saying, hey, we're going to look at paying off the full mortgage, right? If they're 75 years old and they have a $350,000 house, I hope you ain't saying, yeah, through that, because you're reading the real script. I hope you're not reading the part that says, yes, we're going to show you the full mortgage payoff. Okay. Prep for it, because you need to start directing them. So if you know you're already having to go critical period, the only way you know that is if you prepped. And if you prepped with somebody, you don't tell them, right? In fact, you take it off the table when you're reading the script. You're like, hey, so you know what mortgage protection is? It's kind of like a life insurance policy, Amber. And normally, right, we'll show about 3 different options, but 2 of them, we really won't work for you. That first one is the full mortgage payoff, but right at your age or your health conditions with the cancer, right, that we're not going to look at that because you won't qualify. I'm taking it off the table because remember, on the lead, they also saw that they could get the full mortgage payoff based on their age, health, and budget. So you don't be scared to talk about it. Take it off the table. Hey, so normally, Elijah, right? Families in your situation, we're not looking at the option 2 either. Still the hardest to qualify for, right? Based on some of your budget, right? We ain't going to qualify for it because I'm not afraid to tell them they can't afford it, because they can't. So why even show them and get them excited about something they're going to tell you no to, right? So, hey, based on some of these things, right? And mainly the health condition, right? The cancer 5 years ago, I can't get you covered with that. Right. So what we're going to do, right? And then I get excited again, right? So we're going to show you what I normally see families in your situation do, Elijah, which is option 3. And they built this to make sure families in your situation can always get coverage. So I'm excited about that. And so let me go through this, right? I'm already guiding them what's going to happen, right? Have you ever ran an appointment and you showed them critical period? Have you ever heard like, well, I thought you were going to pay off my whole house? You didn't realize you told them somewhere in your script or booking the appointment that you were, right? So be nice to the client too, right? Understand you didn't set them up. You probably agreed somewhere in the script that, hey, yeah, so we're going to show you option 1, right, is the full mortgage payoff. And you just kept on going, but you didn't take it off the table. So you literally told them you're going to show them option 1, the full mortgage payoff. So be careful with that, right? That make sure you're guiding them through that process. Then the good old water trick. How many of y'all have ever gotten to think about it? I get them all the time. Okay. Guess what? Some families do got to think about it. If you were to sit with me, I'd probably tell you I need a week to think about it. I'm just being honest. Okay. It blows my mind how I can get someone to say yes to $600 on Monday, Elijah. That blows my mind. This family was like, yeah, let's just do that. I'm like, that's 675 cents. Like, yeah, let's just do that. I would never. But hey, I ain't the client, right? Good thing for that, Elijah. Right? So understand some folks do got to think about it. How do you take the think about it till tomorrow, the next day, or next week away? Give them time to think about it. I promise there's so much gold. If you're not doing this, do it. Okay. When you finish showing your options, whatever you showed them, right? Okay, Kevin. So remember, right? So that one will pay the full mortgage payoff, right? Between you and your wife, right? You and Mary, y'all can pick whichever ones you like. Remember, we can do a combination of them. But that way, right? We'll put coverage in place. And Kevin, I've been talking all day. Give me a second. I'm gonna go get some more water while I let you think about it. You and Mary can talk about it, and I'll be back. Give me about a minute or two.
What do you guys think? Should we do a full mortgage or a partial mortgage? The one that was 200 and something now. You think he's still listening to us? No. All right. Um,
I'm pretty sure he is.
he's listening to us. Okay.
He went.
That's
He actually
literally,
did
that's
it.
literally what we hear. It is insane. Do it. When we walk away, I don't even leave. I'm just I'm behind my computer. Elijah, I hear them say, well, so which one do you think we should do? Well, I don't know.
Dude, that's my favorite because you know you're going to close a deal.
Yeah,
Whenever they start talking about it, every single time, bro, they buy.
but they won't do it in front of you. So give them that space. Take it back. I promise you, the water trick easily, if you're sitting with a good amount of family, easily puts $5,000. That means after the APV, $5,000 in your pocket a month. I promise you, do it in every single appointment. It is proven. I'm not giving y'all stuff that maybe works. Do the water. It will let them think about it. And Brooke, this may be why maybe they don't think about it enough and get a bigger app, right?
Man,
Like
I was literally just thinking, we slip on things, and
we
that's what
slip. I don't always do it. I promise. I don't
one of
always
the
do
things
it.
I slipped
I
on.
coach myself on these things all the time. In fact, this is why I love running them in person, because then I'll get the good old think about it, and Amber will unmute, be like, why didn't you do the water trick? I'm like, oh, God. Right? Like, I'm not saying we're perfect. I'm just saying add all these things because I promise you they work. And when you look at producers like Elijah, they're just more consistent than us. That's all it is. They're very disciplined in their appointment and they're not willing to take these things off the table. We are. So stop taking, right? Or should I say, just start adding these for you right now because I promise you they work. That water trick is fire. And then the last one, I want to make sure we add, let's see, is if you do get to think about it, it's going to happen. Guess what? About 30% of the time you sit with someone, you're going to get it no matter what. Book the appointment. This is a non-negotiable. If you don't book the appointment, it's a no, and they're being nice to you, and you're going to waste your time chasing them. What do I mean by that? If they're still like, nope, nope, I don't make decisions right now. Me and my wife need to talk about it. I've pushed back 3 times. You sure we went over your budget? Yeah, Joe, but it's $150. Like I'm sorry, I need to think about it. I got it. No worries. I'm booking tomorrow. They don't need a lot of time. Okay. So, hey, Elijah. So, I get it. I wouldn't make this decision either. So tomorrow they keep me really busy. So tomorrow at 3 o'clock, is that going to work?
Can you call me like 3 weeks from now, Joe?
Yeah.
I need so much time to think about it, man. I
I
got to talk
get
to
it.
my brother about it. He might not have coverage, so
I get it. I get it. I mean, we did go right, and I'm poking the bear. We went over your budget. We know we can afford it. It fits. I'm not scared to tell them this, right? I know it fits your budget, Elijah. I mean, is there something, right? Is there something that's stopping you from making the decision by tomorrow? Right? Like, I mean,
mm.
you can call your brother tomorrow, right? Or tonight. Is that in maybe Thursday? Well, my brother works and blah blah. Oh, I get
Yeah.
it. Let me Friday good enough? Well, it's not. Hey, Elijah, I just want to make sure I'm not scared. A lot of folks, they're just trying to tell me no. Is this something that you and Mary really, is this a concern? I mean, we went through your budget. I'm poking the bear, right? You're gone, John, and Mary doesn't have enough for 3 months. I mean, what's there to think about? Or this just isn't for y'all. Yeah, we don't really care about this right now, Joe. Sweet. If they don't let you book it that week, at the latest next week, I'll even allow next week for me. If they don't allow, it's lies. I promise you. Get the no. Push for the no. Hey, Chris, I just want to make sure it sounds like this may not be coverage for y'all. Yeah, I'll call you. I'll call you. I'll call you is their polite way of saying no. Take the no and go. Okay? Because if not, it's on your list and you're putting time and effort or it's just causing you stress because you don't want to call it back and it's on your desk. Okay. Take the no. People are polite and they just don't want to tell you no.
Wouldn't
They
you
just,
rather wouldn't you rather have the lead resolved
yes,
than it just be like in your follow-up stack
it
and it's
stresses you,
like,
right? You're like, I gotta call
bro,
back.
yeah. And I mean, I would much rather somebody, and what Joe's talking about is posture, by the way, which if you don't have enough appointments and people to talk to, it's going to be scary to be that direct with the people we're running an appointment on. But that's what you got to do with some of these people who are willy-nilly about making the decision. I would rather somebody say, no, I don't need this. I don't care what happens to my spouse when I die than just be continually following up with someone who's non-committal. And I will, when I get to the point, Joe, where they've told me no 3 or 4 times, like I will literally tell them, so, okay, just to make sure I'm understanding, Joe, $150 or $100 or I don't know, $65 a month is not worth it to make sure your wife is protected.
Yeah.
No? Okay. I'll call you
I,
back in 3 weeks. I tell them you'd be the first. I'm not going to hold my breath. I mean,
I tell them, hey, look, after this, I take you off my list. You're all right. I will not follow up.
yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. Get your no and go. They're being nice. It's a no. If they look, if you ran a good solid appointment, this is what I tell everyone. How do I know I did my best job and it's just a no? I'm surprised and blown away they said no. Right? It's like they're crazy. I just looked over, I know everything in their finances. They're crazy to say no. But hey, not everyone says yes, right? They don't, it's not important to them. Perfectly fine. Move on. So I hope those nuggets, right? Again, they're not really magic tricks. We're just really good at being consistent at these because they work. And I promise you, and if you're an agent that's been around for a while and you're like, hey, my volume moves too much or I'm struggling to get back to where I want to get, you need to look at this. You have strayed from what you were doing that wrote the 20, 30, 40 grand. Okay. You just have to go back to, you have to reanalyze everything, right? Not change everything and make sure you're doing all these little things that work. Because I promise you, we get in our own head and be like, man, I just sit with them and I write. Yeah, I wish. I wish. Right. It's just constant work on our own production. So thanks for hopping on and I'll see y'all on the next one.